Welcome back to Buying Sandlot. On today's episode, we have IMG Academy's Chief Operating Officer, Mike Milliron, on to talk about the massive campus growth and 11 construction and renovation projects currently underway. Those include a new aquatic center, expanded basketball facilities, indoor tennis courts, a wrestling facility, a new performance center, and an 8-court volleyball complex. We also discuss expanding the IMG Academy model around the country, the growing opportunity around girls' sports, especially flag football, naming rights, jersey patches, sponsorships, and streaming. A packed episode today. But before we get into that, we want to thank Blackmagic Design for sponsoring the show. Recently, every kick, phase, scrum, and try at this year's Tropical Sevens Youth Rugby Tournament was streamed thanks to Blackmagic Design. That included 250-plus teams and 750-plus matches across 15 fields and over 1.2 million square feet. Over 4 days of frenetic action were streamed live in its entirety at a level not previously seen in the sport. That included their A10 Mini Extreme and Mini Pro switchers and converters for multi-camera streaming and their DaVinci Resolve replay and post-production solutions. Everyone who watches youth sports, from athletes, parents, and grandparents, coaches, college recruiters, has come to expect streaming that looks and sounds professional. Blackmagic Design can deliver just that for your club, your event, your facility, or even your school. And their suite of affordable products are the same high quality as those used by professional sports teams and in Hollywood, delivering easy-to-learn multicam streaming that open new revenue streams. For more information, visit Blackmagic Design. And now, let's get into the episode. Mike Milliron, Chief Operating Officer at IMG Academy. We appreciate you coming on Buying Sandlot. Good to see you since we last spoke in February. I know it's always busy down there, but right now might be your busiest. Most students are coming back. Football season is on the horizon. And of course, you're in the middle of a huge infrastructure project, which I feel like you guys always are when we talk or when we see something IMG in the news and stuff. So let's start right there. If you could just talk about the campus growth a little bit, talk about what's taking place, walk people through what that is, and is there any update you can provide on that?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, thanks for having me on air. It's good to see you guys again. Last time I feel like we were driving around in a golf cart across campus, and I was starting to show you where what we call E2G, so evolve to grow, all of our construction projects and major capital investments are coming to life. So as you mentioned, right now we're in the largest capital expansion we've ever had in the history of IMG Academy. So when you think of 50 years of IMG Academy and growth and expansion and evolution, to think that we're in this time period right now with the most projects that we've ever had going on at one time is certainly exciting. So we have, I think 11 projects going on this campus right now. Some are renovations, some are new. It's a little bit of everything. So I think since the last time I saw you in February, we've actually started to knock down some of these projects and get them completed and get them live and get them in summer camp for our campers to be able to utilize them. And then most importantly, when our students come back here this week, for them to utilize them. So if it's all right, I'll just name a couple, which I think is really cool. So I'm going to start on our west side of campus, which we have completely renovated our indoor athletic complex into our third weight room on campus and performance center on campus with turf and some of the greatest weight training equipment for all of our student athletes to utilize. Out next to the Legacy Hotel, we have added a brand new state-of-the-art throws field. So we had that completed this spring just in time for the Under Armour Nationals, which we hosted this year, which was a tremendous track event. The reason why we moved the throws field and created this new throws field is because we created and we are in the process of building a state-of-the-art aquatic center. So we had announced that we were launching swimming as one of our new sport programs. That project, 10-lane swimming pool, 50 meters, can literally train any athlete at any ability level in the swimming space. That one will be done in March. So we're about 50% of the way there with that project. In addition to that project, we have a new, what we're calling athletic complex. So the athletic complex is really just the home for a number of our sports, with our softball program coming on board and launching in the previous years, the continued growth of our track and field program and our lacrosse program. We're creating a new home for them on the west side of campus. Then you start to kind of move over to east side of campus, which is the home of a lot of our court sports. What we've been able to do there is we've opened a brand new indoor tennis facility, 4 indoor courts, air conditioned. The coaches love it down here in Florida in the summertime, having the AC and the opportunity to be able to coach the kids in there, which is tremendous. We opened that up earlier this summer. We opened a new wrestling facility, with wrestling being one of our newest sports here on campus. And then we've also expanded what I would say our courts. So we have added 4 new basketball courts to be able to now have 8 basketball courts under one roof, which is tremendous for our boys and girls basketball programs and the events that we want to have in that space. And then we're kind of knee deep into a project. I'm looking to my left because I can literally see the construction trucks and the cranes just to my left. We're building an awesome home for volleyball. Our volleyball program is like the fastest growing thing that's ever hit this campus. And we're going to have 8 volleyball courts ready for them, video rooms, locker rooms, training rooms, everything they need to have literally the best volleyball program in the country. So there's a lot happening.
Yeah, I would say there's a lot happening. I just want to talk to you about the scale after you just talk about all that and stuff, with the aquatic center, with the boys volleyball coming into town, wrestling's there now. What did that increase your enrollment to? And what's like the square footage that you have right now on campus?
2 very good questions. One of which I can answer, the other one I can't, but I'm gonna go get the answer for you. What I can tell you is our enrollment for this fall. So we welcome all of our students back literally at the end of this week, which if you saw campus right now, everyone's just kind of buzzing and excited. So we're going to have just north of 1,700 students enrolled here, which will be a record enrollment for us, which is phenomenal. So we're excited to welcome all of them back. And then also in terms of square footage, don't have that answer, but what I can tell you is we're north of 500 acres here on campus. And you start thinking about all the development that's taking place. We still have probably 75 acres that are yet to be developed that we're kind of putting a master plan together for. But that's how big, just to give you an idea of the size and scope of what we have. But I'm going to go ask my ops guy what the square footage is, because I think that's a good trivia question.
Mike, I know that a lot of these projects are being driven by new sports you're adding. So I'm just curious to kind of take a little bit of a tangent. What goes into deciding, hey, we want to add this sport at IMG Academy? Because I have to imagine that the facilities part is kind of that consideration.
Yeah, without a doubt, there's a lot that goes into it. What I will say before I answer that question is, all of this work that we're calling E2G, we have a saying that goes along with it. It's to better serve the here and now while preparing for the future. So in addition to putting the infrastructure in place to bring new sports to campus, which is something that we're excited to do just to further our purpose, it's also about making sure the sports that we have the best facilities, the best infrastructure, and the best what I'd call playground sometimes, to be able to go out and develop the student athletes. So I wanted to make sure I talked about that because I think that's really important. And the tennis investment is a tremendous example, as I highlighted, or the basketball one as well. So to kind of get to your question, we have a task force, honestly, that is continuously evaluating new sports and what that looks like here on campus. And there are a number of variables that we look at. One is, just as you had mentioned, what's the infrastructure look like? What's the requirement? What makes sense for us to do here on campus? What makes sense for us to be able to fit within what we're able to do? 2, are we going to be able to positively impact that space, which we really think, for the most part, for the sports that we're looking at bringing, we think IMG Academy having these sports is important to that space. Then you start to look at participation rates, you start to look at college scholarships and professional matriculation, and all these different variables start to come in. And you look at what makes sense and what the growth rates are. So that's, in the last four years now, we've added volleyball, we've added softball, we've added wrestling, and then we just announced swimming as well. So we kind of have this muscle built now where we're able to evaluate these strongly on the front end, and then have this team around it that's able to create a successful launch, which we've seen in our sports, which has been tremendous.
You're publishing this week college placement numbers for your last class. Can you share those with the audience, what you guys are saying?
Yeah, absolutely. This is probably our favorite topic to talk about, because when you think of families and you think of students that choose to come to IMG Academy and make a life-changing decision, a lot of them will be moving from around the country or even around the world. And a lot of it is about outcomes as well. When they think of IMG Academy, they want great outcomes. They want to have tremendous opportunities for college matriculation. They want to see their character improve. They want to be prepared to win their future. So when we look at this past school year, this has to be one of the best years that we've ever had, which says a lot in our 50 years. So we had right around 525 students that were graduating, either graduating seniors or postgraduates as well. And over 512 of those are matriculating to college. It's like 97% of our students are matriculating to college. And if it's all right, I got a couple stats here that I want to share with you. This is like a little bit of a brag session to just be so proud of what the team has done, because, listen, we have 1,200 staff members that just pour themselves into the kids to help them. So we have 34 of our student athletes that are going on to top 25 universities, which is tremendous. 11 student athletes going to Ivy League Ivy League institutions from our class. 5 going to U.S. military service academies, which is something we're incredibly proud of. And then we have a number of students, a handful, I think 4 or 5, that are going directly into the pros. So everything directly from the pros into Ivy League into service academy, which is great and something that we're very proud of. In addition to that, 70% of those kids that are going to college are going to be playing their sport. They have a roster spot, which is just absolutely phenomenal. That's like 11 times the national average, I think, is what I've been told. So it's just a crazy statistic, but it's one of those outcomes that really matters, and one of the reasons why families choose to come to IMG Academy. So we're super proud of that. We're proud of the fact that our females that are graduating, I think like 83% of them are playing their sport in college as well. So the stats just keep going. And if I was sitting here with our college planning and placement office, they love just rattling these off and sharing with me, because they're just so proud of the work that our team's able to do.
Yeah, so those are some amazing numbers. I mean, and you know it. I mean, parents of IMG, they're essentially paying for a pathway to college athletics from what that kind of shows. And instead of having everything fragmented from, your club team to paying for a trainer to paying for counseling to paying for a recruiting service, you guys are just kind of rolling it up under one vertically integrated youth athlete development company and charging a flat fee when I look at that.
Mike, I was just going to add a question. We see a lot of times, I think, and this is just all youth sports, high school sports.
Yeah.
Kids want to go play sports when they're in high school. They want to play college sports. They want to play college sports. They get to college and realize this is drastically different from when I was playing in high school. And you see a lot of attrition, when kids are freshmen, sophomores. Do you think the fact that you guys have such a high, rate is not only that you're bringing in great families, great athletes, but it's that you're providing experience that is sort of so close to the college level that kids can actually get comfortable and realize if this is right for them at IMG?
100%. I would say, James, in addition to that, if you think about the other side of the table, the college coaches know what they're getting as well. They love IMG Academy graduates, because they know if you've attended IMG Academy, you've essentially lived what it's like to be a Division I student athlete. You know how to manage your time. You know how to live away from home. You've kind of gotten over the homesickness. You know how to be a leader within your community. You know how to train hard. You know how to go to the training room. Everything that's required, which I think sometimes maybe is taken for granted. Everyone thinks being a Division I athlete is just a super easy thing to do. But if you're not prepared for it, it can actually be very difficult, especially when you think of your first semester. So not only are we preparing the students and the families for their son or daughter, or for themselves to be successful on day one when they arrive on campus, I also think what we're providing the universities and the college coaches is something that they know that's going to be able to be successful in their environment, because they've been through it and they've already maybe learned through some of the challenges that college freshmen get, but they've been able to do it here in the environment of IMG Academy, where you're surrounded by a tremendous student life staff, you're surrounded by great coaches. So you're able to kind of learn and build as you go, which is, I think, just some of the reasons that speaks to the success that we're having on that front. And Kyle, you were talking a little bit earlier the one thing that we're super proud of that we have here at the Academy is we have such an integrated ecosystem. So you have sport, and you have athletic and personal development, and you have academics, and you have character, and you have all these different elements that work together in unison that provide this seamless experience. I think best prepares the students, which I think is a real competitive advantage for us at IMG Academy. It's a tremendous offering for families and students.
Yeah. I think when we talked in February when I was down there, you said Saban loved recruiting IMG Academy guys because it was just like you take them, bring them over to Tuscaloosa, Alabama. They've already been kind of in the college atmosphere already, so they kind of acclimate a lot better than maybe someone who played in a scholastic school or whatnot, or public school. I do want to ask, how do you guys look at what you're doing? And you just read us off those amazing numbers, and it's a testament to what you guys do at IMG. But how do you guys look at what you're doing and think about distributing that model to other schools? Now, obviously, I know you're doing that right now through the Elevate program, but the Sports Academy is evolving from a niche destination for elite athletes, and it's becoming like a legitimate education group. How do you figure out whether that model can scale beyond those destination campuses? And how do you think about long-term expansion, maybe through expanding the IMG brand around the country, or thinking about maybe what different versions of the Academy model could look like?
Yeah, I think you bring up a couple things there, and we couldn't be more excited about what we're doing with IMG Academy Elevate. And for everyone that maybe doesn't know exactly what that product is, but it allows us to grow our impact. We say beyond our walls. So you've been here, IMG Academy is fully gated, and there's walls around our campus. But this enables us to actually make impact beyond. You go from impacting tens of thousands of student athletes to hundreds of thousands, if not millions. So all Elevate is at its core is it's a tremendous product and experience that combines a lot of what we have, our digital assets and our digital programming, our IP that we have with in-person experiences as well. And through some of the arrangements that we have right now, we have a tremendous partnership with North Anglia schools, which is great. We're able to go to their school network and go to their school system in person, deliver professional development for their staff, provide development for their student athletes, but also give their network access to IMG Academy Essentials, which is just on-demand programming as it relates to nutrition and mental toughness and all these different skills and what we do here in person. But yet you're impacting the masses. So we're seeing that at the high school level. We're seeing our ability to impact. So you think about scaling beyond Bradenton. We're doing that at the Division I level as well. So we're doing it with different universities that have signed up to be a part of IMG Academy Elevate and really see the value in that regard. So we're super excited about that. We just launched it in March, and it's already kind of taking off. So we're excited to see that impact both universities and high schools. But when you think about kind of the industry, and you're starting to see some of the growth in some of these maybe smaller micro academies or focused areas, it'll be really interesting to keep an eye on what that looks like. I think if these places are doing good by the student athletes, have good programming, I think that's just great for the entire ecosystem. We're personally super excited and proud of what we do. We think we're one of one, that there's no better place to get you sports and education than IMG Academy. So it's interesting to see the development and to see the growth in this space, and we're excited to continue to kind of lead it as well.
Mike, I'm just curious, and it's kind of a big picture question, so it might be kind of impossible to answer. But I'm from New Jersey, so obviously St. Patrick's was a storied basketball program. The school closes down. They kind of reconstitute as the Patrick School. They continue on. Do you think there's ever a space for IMG to, maybe it's acquisitions, maybe it's not, to sort of have satellite campuses across the country where it's a school, it's a brand recognition, it's a tradition that's sort of now powered by IMG, to kind of take that licensing a step further?
Yeah, James, you sound like you were at our all-company huddle a couple of weeks ago when everyone raises their hand and asks me questions, and they're always like, "Mike, what's the likelihood of that?" Listen, I think that's a great question. I don't, and I'll say what I said to the team. I don't know what the answer is, to be honest with you. I think there's a world of opportunity out there. And I think whether it's through mergers and acquisitions, like you had just mentioned, and those opportunities that are there, or if it's just continuing to really kind of double down on what we do here in Bradenton. I think there's probably still some more sports maybe to add, and some other areas to evolve, to grow here, and make sure that we're truly nailing it on campus. But I think we're always looking and evaluating opportunities out in the space as well.
Yeah, you mentioned the new sports. I wanted to talk about that. You know, from the release, the girls' sports seems to be one of the biggest opportunities for IMG. I think you said like 83% of graduating female athletes are going to play college sports, which is an amazing number. And not only is that, you know, obviously a great marketing tool to increase your enrollment on the girls' side, but now you're using it to create another pathway, and that's adding a sport like boys volleyball. You know, now you're just demonstrating demand, you're increasing enrollment. It's a no-brainer. So I did want to ask, like, are there any other sports you see IMG exploring next, both boys and girls side?
Yeah, absolutely. So this year alone, which is really cool. So if you think about just in 2026, we ran our first ever flag football camps. So we had a flag football camp that was in January. We had a flag football camp that was this summer. That's going to continue to grow and expand. It was tremendous for us to kind of test it this year from a camp standpoint. And then as we look at next year's product calendar, you'll see more and more flag football, which was awesome. This school year, we have wrestling beginning, which is awesome. We're going to have like 25 wrestlers in Florida. And as someone from Pennsylvania, I absolutely love wrestling, so I can't be more excited to have that added. And boys volleyball as well. So 2 new sports beginning this school year. Going into 2027, you'll have men's and women's swimming as well, which we're really excited about. So we kind of have this rhythm of new sports almost every year, at least for the last few years. The team right now is in the final stages of kind of evaluating what's next after that. So I think that we'll be probably ready to announce something here in the coming weeks or months on what the next sport will be in that regard. But I would think we're going to continue to have that muscle and exercise it for the next few years, because it's just been so successful for us, and I think it's been successful for those respective sports as well.
To kind of piggyback off that, I'm always fascinated by flag football. As you know, it's exploding in popularity. But for what you guys do, it doesn't have that sort of college infrastructure yet. Yes, we are having college teams start for the women, but it's like a lot of it's small schools, it's mid majors. I look in New Jersey that the Jets were part of the league where you had D1 schools, we also had D3 schools. So I'm just curious how that kind of, from your standpoint, that could maybe slow the process down, just because you want to be able to have a college infrastructure and be able to tell a family, like, you're getting a scholarship to this, when the conferences are all being made up on the fly, and we don't necessarily have the FBS, Power 4 pro schools investing yet.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting, to be honest with you. I mean, it'll be something that we're going to continue to keep our eye on and see what the development looks like at the university level. I think there will be continued addition of teams, and that may not be all in the Big Ten or specific conferences, but you'll start to see it. So for us, it's about providing opportunities for people to be able to win their future and move on and follow their pursuit and their pursuit of their passion. I think right now, what's great for us is to get involved early and to run these camps, because there's, as we all know, there's a ton of youth females out there that are falling in love with the game. There's an opportunity for us to provide tremendous training experiences and development experiences in the IMG Academy ecosystem, and it just makes sense. So I think we're going to continue to perfect that, and then just keep an eye on what the future looks like at the NCAA level, at the Division I, Division II, Division III, whatever it may be. But I think it's important for us to have her kind of be involved and be engaged, and then also just make a difference in these campers and these students that want to get better and develop.
I always like talking partnerships with you. I know you like talking partnerships. You got some amazing partners down there. So I want to talk about this a little bit. Thoughts on naming rights, thoughts on jersey patches. I mean, everything's trickling down right now. Pro, they established it. Now we're seeing, brands like Ohio State and Notre Dame putting jersey patches on. So nothing's sacred anymore. No jersey is sacred anymore. So I would like to just see kind of your thoughts on jersey patches and naming rights, especially as you see some of your competitors start to lean into those more.
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I mean, you're like, as you mentioned, you're seeing it pop up everywhere. If it's at the conference level, if it's at the individual school level, um, and some of these dollar figures in partnership sizes with some of these universities is just tremendous. I think for us, as you had mentioned, Kyle, and then when you were down here, we already have a roster of really good partners, and for us, partners aren't just kind of names on a jersey or names on a building. They fully are integrated into the experience and into what we do. So probably like you can imagine, most places we're certainly evaluating this and looking and having some conversations in and around the opportunities that are out there. But we're just going to continue to really kind of focus in on make sure that it's if we go down that road, it's the right brand, it's the right partner with the right people that want to make the right impact. But I think you're just going to see more and more of this if it's some of the people that play in our space or at the university level. I think there's a lot of opportunity. I think there's a lot of value in it as well for the partner, and I think there's a lot of good that can be done for the student athletes and their experience, which is what we're just going to really hone in on. So if we end up going down that road, I'll be really excited about who we go with and what that looks like, because when you have 1,700 student athletes, soon to be 1,800, 1,900, you want to have the right partners that are making the right impact, which we have a pretty good record of doing so. So that's a long way of saying I think it makes sense. I think it's something that we're going to continue to evaluate, and if and when we get to that point, it's going to be with the right group and the right brand that want to do the right things together.
I guess, like how you said value for the partners, I think that's something that gets missed a lot. Like, yes, MetLife has their name on the Giants and the Jets stadium, but it's not just people saying it on TV. It's Eli shows up at the golf outing and does a foursome with the three biggest sellers that year. I guess for you guys to have this sprawling campus, to have your air-conditioned tennis courts, to have everything, to be in beautiful, down there in Florida, like how much do you think that can help you guys if you go that route? Is that you have so much to offer?
A ton. I think that helps a ton. In addition to being on the Gulf of Mexico in sunny Florida with near perfect weather, we also have such a great ecosystem of thousands of student athletes that call this place home for 9 months out of the year. Then you have another 10 to 20,000 campers that come for short periods of time. You have groups and teams and events. So there's tremendous opportunities for brands to be able to activate, and also for brands not only to activate and get in front of the right demo and the right target market, but you start thinking of like product development, and you start thinking of research, and you start thinking of all these kind of testing and a lot of the value that we're able to bring with our partners is we just have this living ecosystem and space that it makes a lot of sense to learn a lot about development and learn a lot about your product and what is of interest and what changes or opportunities there are. So I think when you think of the value from the brand's perspective, that's massive. Not to mention kind of who we are, what we do, our reputation as well. So I think there's tremendous value for the brands that want to partner with us at IMG Academy, and there's a bunch of different ways that it can go. And we've proven that we've been very creative with each of our relationships.
Last one from me. We talked in February. You talked about a potential streaming partner. Any movement on that front you can offer?
Yes and no. What I would say is we just upgraded all of our camera systems across all of our fields and courts. HTN, so Home Team Network, we're going to be working with them as it relates to things going live on our soon-to-be launched athletics website, which we're super excited about. We have a brand new athletics website that's going to come out that I think is tremendous value for our students and for their parents, college coaches, everything that you can imagine with live streams. It's going to have rosters, stats, everything you need on that front. But we're continuing to kind of look at and evaluate and have conversations as it relates to media rights, specifically ours, and what that looks like for greater distribution on that front. But we've kind of built the infrastructure in place now to start to aggregate a lot of this a lot of this work. So we're excited, and we continue to kind of build, and we'll see what's next on this front.
For me, I'll start with this question because I want to make sure I'm not completely off base. I have to imagine it's kind of challenging, I would assume, to come up with like a football schedule every fall for your other sports. Is that yes or no? Like, is that difficult for you guys, or challenging, more challenging sometimes than others?
Yes and no. Like,
Okay.
I think it is from year to year, and it depends on the team. But we have such great relationships with schools, kind of in three different areas: local level, regional level, national level. Depending on the team that we have. I mean, as you guys know, some of our sports programs have 15 or 18 teams. So that's, you start scheduling, baseball games and seasons for that. You want to make sure that you have the right games and the right competition. So our programs have done a really good job of getting that down to a science and having the right relationships. It also helps when you can host events and bring teams here and provide the opportunity to like play on our fields and our environment. A lot of schools are really excited to do that. So it's a challenge sometimes just in terms of sheer numbers, but it ends up working out pretty well.
I guess what I was leading to is, you discussed media rights, especially at the national level. Do you ever see there being some sort of, whether it's driven by like a partner like an ESPN, like some sort of conference or platform that sort of guarantees that you and other similar schools around the country are going to play each year, and kind of creates some sort of system? Because I think there's immense interest in these competitions, in this product. It's just never been efficiently packaged together.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I would say, as you think kind of the future of some of these national sports programs, I would think something like that will be in the cards. Who knows how far down the road that is? And it would probably start with, probably your main sports first, and then maybe matriculate down into more of your Olympic sports. But I would think something in the future, you would probably see something like that. The world's colliding and coming together, and just guaranteeing that kind of competition at a certain level. That makes sense to me, and I think over time you'll see that.
I appreciate you letting us talk to you. I don't want to keep you anymore. You got another building probably to check on. So, so enjoy yourself down there in sunny Bradenton. We'll talk to you down the line. All right.
All right, guys, don't be strangers. Come on down.